We started in the early 2000s. First, we had the polio laboratory network. Because we have built, WHO with its stakeholders, have built capacity in those laboratories. We have that capacity also for use for other diseases, like, for instance, yellow fever. So what we have been doing is to build the network based on existing laboratories and give them the power through strengthening their capacity, giving them the tools, as well as the knowledge to do yellow fever diagnostics.
So the testing algorithm that is used in the laboratory network is based on the yellow fever IgM ELISA. The ELISA is very sensitive for samples that have been collected about 5 days or more after the onset of illness, but it's not specific. So you could have a yellow fever case or a dengue case that would have a positive IgM ELISA result with yellow fever. And the other part of it is that there's no commercial assay for ELISA for yellow fever. It's not economically beneficial. So CDC and the Institute of Pasteur in Dakar have provided reagents to do this ELISA throughout Africa. But they're what's called analyte-specific reagents, in that each lab has to titrate and standardize the reagents in their own laboratory with their own supplies and buffers and things like that. So there can be a lot of variation depending on the competency of the lab. There can be a lot of variation in how you would trust the results. In the last couple of years, CDC has worked to develop a kit based on the CDC ELISA reagents that we've been distributing throughout Africa for the last 12 years. Everything is in concentrations that are ready to use, that all the components are contained in the kit, and that the test protocol and the results reporting are standardized. So I'm very excited. This is going to be going through validation right now. Countries, they're doing field trials of this, looking to see how well it works in their own lab.
Before, you needed at least 2 days to get the test result out. Now we can have the test result done in 3.5 hours. And that's going to be a game changer. Much faster lab results will become available. Also, in terms of procurement, we'll lose much less time in placing orders. I don't have to find all the different reagents, all the different supplies for that in-house assay anymore. I can just order one item, which is that kit. So hopefully by the end of the year or early next year, we should be able to move slowly towards the kit. I expect maybe over a year until everything is really settled. So we need to roll out trainings. We need to make sure that we have funding to procure those kits. They will be slightly more expensive. What I see lying ahead of us in the future is to work with stakeholders and strengthen laboratory capacity for molecular testing in the African region. In the Americas, the approach of molecular testing has already been implemented in parallel with serologic testing. In the African region, we're not there yet, and I hope that in the future we can secure enough funding to support these laboratories, strengthen the capacity, not only to do serologic testing, but also to do molecular testing.
For quite a long time, we have been struggling to test suspected cases of yellow fever in Africa, in Cameroon, and in Africa as a whole. Now, with the eye strategy, we have to improve our capacity of detecting cases with a short turnaround time in order to have rapid outbreak intervention, and of course, we feel confident in the elimination of yellow fever outbreak by 2026.